Thanks, Michael. And thanks, everybody, for the time. This question is for Anthony, and I suspect it won't surprise you. I know we asked about Fuller and Balogun a little bit the last time we chatted with you, and really not long after that, it seems like he's arrived in Orlando, and the Orlando Magic said he's at their game tonight. So I have to ask if you've had any further communication with him and whether you might be talking to him when you get back to town in a few days.
Yeah, he's as I said before, we've had dialogue, we've spoken. He's out here, you know, having a bit of a break and some training, and we've had some discussions. So yeah, now it's about him just enjoying the rest of his trip.
We'll go to Stephen Goff from the Washington Post.
Thanks, Anthony. I guess I feel obligated to follow up on that and see where things stand in those conversations you had with him, because obviously this has created a lot of buzz with him being in Florida, and I know you're planning on Grenada tomorrow, but this is certainly a big development for the program.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Look, I think it's been good because it's been an opportunity for us just to share about our program and who we are and what we do, and again, and look, and that's it, you know. And I hope we get the chance to speak to him again. Yeah, so it's been good to meet him, and I know a few of the guys have spoke to him as well.
Next will be Doug McIntyre from Fox.
Thanks, Michael. Christian, this one's for you. Just curious what the setting's like down there. I mean, you're playing, I think, the 124th ranked team in the world. The last match is in the round of 16 at the World Cup. Very different setting. I know you've just only arrived, but what have you seen on the ground? Have you been out to the stadium so far? What's sort of the lay of the land there? Thank you.
Yeah, we were able to go and see the stadium, and it's I mean, I must say it's quite a beautiful place. You know, the setting was very nice. The drive to the stadium was beautiful, and you know, hopefully there'll be a nice atmosphere for the match tomorrow. And you know, like you said, it might not be a World Cup game, but we know how challenging these matches can be at times. You know, because of the conditions and everything. But all in all, excited to be here in a nice place, and yeah, good challenge for us tomorrow.
This is the second time the U.S. has played in Grenada. The last time, 2004, a 3-2 victory in World Cup qualifying. Next, we'll go to Paul Tenorio from The Athletic.
I've got one for each of you, Christian. Obviously, you've been able to work back into shape, and we're starting with Chelsea. How do you feel fitness-wise? How far do you think you can go in these two games? And for Anthony, are there any kind of tweaks or changes, team, compared to what we saw at the World Cup going into this kind of first official game in the new cycle? Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm feeling healthy. Like you said, I was able to come back, make a couple appearances at club level, and yeah, even get a start before I came here. And yeah, the injuries recovered well. Knee is feeling good, and yeah, ready to go and hopefully be a part of both of these matches.
Yeah, and I would say for us, look, I think we, the last 3 or 4 years, there's been, and I've said this many times, a lot of good work has been done, okay, by obviously the previous coach. Greg did a great job. The staff, I thought the players did an excellent job at the World Cup. And we are just focused on progressing it. We want to play the same style of play of how we've been doing things, but we just want to progress it. That's where we're at.
Next will be Enrique Raffel. Okay, well, Enrique tries to unmute his line. We'll move on.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
I'm Henrique Raffel from RBS TV in Brazil. I would like to talk about Johnny Cardoso. My question is to Coach Hudson. I think this is the first time since Cub Jones in 1996 that a player outside of North America and Europe has been called up to an official championship. I would like to know, how does the USMNT have to deal with have a huge coverage of American players in other leagues like the Brazilian one, for example, in the case of Johnny Cardoso, and how can he help out the team with the Brazilian style of play?
Yeah, well, look, firstly, Johnny's a great guy. Like, he's really good to have around the camp. Like, the players like it. He's just a really good person. I think that's the starting point. He's been in with us a bunch of times. We know his quality, and I think he will feel that, you know, he's had to be patient for his opportunity. But look, he's had a good camp so far. He's trained really well. And maybe in these games he can get an opportunity as well. But he's someone that is very much part of our group, and we're pleased that he's back in with us at this stage.
Next will be Henry Bushnell from Yahoo.
Thanks, Michael, and appreciate the time, guys. Just a question for Christian to follow up on the questions from earlier about Fuller and Balogun. Have you had any contact with Flo this week, and have you guys as a team, you know, done anything to try to show him a good time in Florida or anything?
No, so obviously I've seen that he's in Florida. I haven't really spoken to him personally, but I know some of the guys that know him, you know, from previous, you know, teams or whatever, have reached out to him and spoken to him. So obviously from our side, you know, we'd love to have him. So I haven't had any conversations with him personally, but hopefully in the near future.
Next will be Jeff Carlisle from ESPN FC.
Thanks, Michael. My question's for Anthony. Obviously, with Tyler Adams not in camp, there's an opening for who's going to be the captain. I was wondering if you could share that with us. And in terms of Gio Reyna, where do you plan on deploying him over the course of these next two games? He's played mostly out wide, but might he slide to a different position?
Yeah, look, Tyler's a big loss, not just as a player, but also as a character. So, we're disappointed that he's not here. The captain sat right next to me for tomorrow. And then with regards to Gio, look, I think like I said at the beginning, we want to play the same way. We want to be an attacking team. We want a team that controls the ball. We have some very technical players. We have players that are very comfortable on the ball. So we are trying to figure out and find a way of getting players like Gio in the best possible positions where they can have an effect on the game, on the team, and help us ultimately win. But he's had a good week. Look, I can assure you that. Like, he's had a really good week of training. His quality's very evident, and his attitude's been great.
We'll go to Mike Waitala from Soccer America.
Hi, thanks. Hi, Anthony. My question is, if you were talking to soccer fans who weren't familiar with the CONCACAF Nations League and they see you're playing against two teams who the U.S. has never lost against in official competition, how would you describe to them how high the stakes are of the results of these games and how important the performance of your team is?
Yeah, look, I would say these games are complicated. They're very tricky games because we have, as we all know, we've just come out of the World Cup. We have a really talented squad coming from playing at very high levels all around the world, playing in Europe, and then you come and I mean this respectfully, you come to certain places in the region, and it's just different conditions, different stadiums, different fans. So they become very complicated games because they're not games like you're used to. But the bottom line is this: we have to win. We have to win because our goal is first of all to get to the semi-final of the Nations League, and also qualify for the Gold Cup. So we are obviously the current holders of both tournaments, and it's really, really clear for the whole team our ambition is to retain both titles, and that starts tomorrow.
Next will be Ryan Talmadge from Goal.com.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Anthony, I wanted to ask about the strikers that you do have in camp, Ricardo and Daryl, and sort of what you've kind of seen out of them and want to see out of them. Obviously, it's an important time for those two, trying to play their way back into the picture after not being able to go to the World Cup. How have they kind of handled this camp, and what are the things that you're going to want to see from them as they kind of try and push their way back into this race?
I think it's been seamless for both guys. Like you know, Ricardo's such a great kid. He's so good around the group, great energy. We follow him every single weekend. You know, his team's having a difficult time, but what you see, even with his team, like this guy just doesn't stop working. You know, he's made some great runs behind the line. He's been scoring goals. And I think it was important for us to get him back in the group and give him confidence, and he deserves a chance. And I think the same for Daryl. Daryl's been someone who's been in with us, obviously a very different profile of you know, a few strikers that we have. He did very, very well in the championship with Barnsley. I think when he went there, they were fighting relegation, and he scored a bunch of goals, and then they were, you know, right in the playoffs, and then got a well-deserved move to West Brom, and unfortunately missed a load of programming with us because of his injury. But he's been doing well. He's been doing really well in the championship. His game's improved. You know, we've been over to see these guys. We've seen Ricardo live. We've been over to Europe. We've seen a few of us have gone to see these guys in live games. And with Daryl as well. I've been over there. BJ's been over there. His game's improved, so we're really, really pleased for him. And what we expect is for them just to come in and give everything they got. You know, we want these guys to give everything. They've got different qualities, but just give everything they got, and obviously add some goals to that would be nice as well.
We'll take a few more questions and continue with Charlie Bone from MLS Soccer.
Hi, good evening, gents. This is for both of you, even though I know you're coming at it from different perspectives, but you've both talked about, I think, the foundation that has been laid in the past cycle under Greg. But I'm sure everything's evolving always, right? And things, there are things you want to work on or improve. So I just want to ask both of you, sort of, what's the next phase? What are the priorities? What changes now, or what's different from what you've already built?
Yeah, I'll start. I would say, yeah, you know, like you said, we have a great foundation. I think we're not, you know, going to now change the way we play completely. I think it's just about using these experiences, you know, especially, you know, big World Cup matches, just gaining those experiences is just huge for you know, especially a team like us with so many young guys. And yeah, take those experiences, you know, into these new competitions now, and just continue to do what we're doing and play with this style, and yeah, figure each other out even more so. And yeah, you know, I always say that, you know, the more experience that I get in big games, I just feel more and more comfortable down the line, you know, after that. And I think that's what this team needed, you know, with the experience at the World Cup, and I think it's really going to help us, you know, going forward.
Yeah, I would echo what Christian said. You know, we're as a staff and as a playing group, that's the aim, is just to keep improving what we're doing. I think when you come to, like, we just landed a few hours ago, you come and you play in these away in CONCACAF, you sort of get out of your comfort. You're out of your comfort zone. You know, because we live and we play in different facilities and stadiums and all these different things, and so you get out your usual comfort zone. But what I think we've learned, and what the experience we have, is that we've been through all this before. You know, the last cycle, we've been through it before. We've had moments where we've learned some big lessons, and coming here now, you know, even just how we've managed today. You know, we trained back in the States in the morning. We had lunch there, then we came in late and we had a walk around the stadium. You know, that's been different how we've done it in the past. So we sort of using our experience to do different things, and we want to draw on that experience going into the game tomorrow. We all know how important the game is, and we feel we have enough experience under our belt that now we have to go and use that and get the job done.
Go to Brenda Alvarado from Fox Sports Mexico.
Thanks, Michael. First, Coach Christian, thanks for your time. Coach, as we know, Mexico and the U.S. were fighting to convince Alejandro Sendejas to represent their countries. What was behind that process, and how did the USMNT convince him? And for Christian, as a teammate, what can Alejandro Sendejas brings to the table for the group? Thank you.
Do you want to answer that one?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. For me, I obviously know Alejandro very well. You know, we were roommates. You know, in U17 national team. You know, down in Florida, we played together for a long time. There was always a good relationship there, and to me, he always. I always just see. You know, I see him in a USA jersey, so for me, it was quite natural. It's nice to have him. I think he's, you know, it's obvious what he brings. He's showing it, you know, at a club level. He's very quick, tricky, a player who's very strong, and I just think he can bring a lot to this team. And yeah, also he's just a good guy to have around. He's a great teammate. You know, some of the guys know him, and everyone's definitely getting to know him because he's a big personality, and yeah, we enjoy having him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the first thing that hits you is like, I feel like I repeat myself about, you know, a few of the players, but he is just a really good guy, big personality, you know, always got a smile on his face. Like if you know, Christian would know better than me, but certainly from how we see it as a staff, like he's really good around the team. You know, he's good to have in our team as a teammate, and then. You know, he came in January and did really well. And then in this camp, I have to say, in training, he's been really good. He's shown his quality this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing him play and being involved in these games. And the process, to be honest, I don't know. You know, I don't think we can say anything like quite special or anything. We just. You know, we called him up. We've had conversations. He did really well. We wanted him to come back in. You know, we talked about the program and how we saw him, and yeah, and the decision. From my point of view, anyway, it seemed pretty easy. And I would say part of that is because he has relationships with people like Christian and a bunch of guys on the team, but. I think he's an important player, and he's a player that's going to help this team for sure.
Two more. We'll continue with Kyle Bond.
Thanks, guys, for doing this. Christian, for you, you've been in these CONCACAF road games a bunch now. You have a lot of experience. Coach just talked about, you know, how they're complicated. I think we understand what he means by that: setting, venue, opponent, that kind of thing. But he also just mentioned learning lessons. For you, these kind of games can be an exceptionally physical battle. How has your preparation for a game like this evolved as you get more experience there, to where maybe you're expecting to take some lumps? What have you learned over the years in CONCACAF play?
Yeah, I think I'm still learning. Every time I play in these games, you know, a new challenge presents itself. I think that's the beauty of it. I think what I've really tried to do in recent times is sort of embrace the atmosphere and just and take it on with a smile, you know, and just go and fight and play and fight for my team, because I think, you know, it's easy to get frustrated when maybe conditions aren't perfect or things aren't going your way, but yeah, it's just about embracing the challenge and enjoying it and yeah, just fighting, you know, for the team.
The last question goes to Andrew Jones.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you, Anthony and Christian, for doing this. Christian, just wanted to ask you about working with Taylor Booth this whole week. What have you seen from the Utrecht playmaker in his rise, and your whole thoughts on your New York Jets potentially and likely getting Aaron Rodgers?
That's a good question to finish it off. I like the little painting behind you as well.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I would say, well, yeah. First of all, with the Jets, yeah, I'm excited, man. It's been a long time since we had a good season, so I'm definitely, you know, hoping and looking forward to that. Hopefully a good year ahead. And I forgot the first part of the question.
That's the happiest. That's the happiest he's been all night, by the way.
Yeah, Taylor Booth. I've kind of kept tabs with him for a little while. I've known him for a while. I've had a little bit of a relationship with him, and yeah, obviously, you know, first time I'm really getting to play alongside him, and I think we've seen his quality in training, you know, quite quickly. I think you can see his delivery is the number one thing where you say, you know, you don't see a lot of guys with that. Yeah, in this program that have that much quality. So I think there's a lot of bits to his game that he can bring and help this team for sure. And I'm excited to see more of it and hopefully get some opportunity and show it in the games coming up.